Let's start at the very bottom. 0. Not a single dollar saved. You might be there right now, or you might remember being there. This is where most people begin their financial story. At 0, every emergency is a crisis. The car breaks down, you're borrowing money. The rent goes up, you're panicking. You're living paycheck to paycheck. And the scariest part? One bad week can spiral into months of debt. Sleep? Rough. Sunday nights feel heavy because Monday means another week of barely keeping up. You're not lazy. You're just playing a game with no cushion. The margin for error is 0. But here's what people at 0 often don't realize. You're not stuck here forever. Even saving $5 a week is a different life than saving nothing. The habit matters more than the amount.
Now, let's jump to your first $1,000. This doesn't sound like much, but psychologically, it's enormous. That $1,000 is your first buffer. The car breaks down, you handle it. The phone screen cracks, you handle it. You're no longer in crisis mode every time life throws something small at you. Your sleep gets a little better. Not perfect, but better. You stop checking your bank balance every hour. There's a tiny exhale. This is what Dave Ramsey calls baby step 1, and he's right about this one. The first 1,000 changes your nervous system. It tells your brain, I have a small wall between me and disaster.
Between $5,000 and $10,000 saved, you cross a different kind of threshold. This is the true emergency fund territory. 3 to 6 months of basic expenses for most people. Now, your problems can't easily become disasters. You lose your job, you have time to breathe, to job hunt without desperation. You need to move cities suddenly? You can. Here's what changes at this level. Your decisions get better. You stop taking bad jobs just because you need them immediately. You stop buying on credit to survive. You have options, and options change everything about how you carry yourself. People at this level sleep well. They're not rich, but they feel financially stable for the first time. Now we're entering the breathing room zone. $25,000 to $50,000. At this level, you start thinking differently. You stop reacting to life and start planning it. You might start investing more seriously. You have a down payment for a car, a real one, bought with cash or a small manageable loan. You might start thinking about property. The lifestyle? Still modest. But the feeling? You walk differently. You negotiate your salary because you don't need this job. You want it. Big difference. Relationships even change at this level. Money stress is one of the top causes of relationship breakdown. When it eases, the tension that snuck into dinner conversations, into arguments about small purchases, that starts to lift. You're not wealthy, but you're safe. And safe is deeply underrated.
$100,000. Say it slowly. 100,000. Something very specific happens at this number. Compound interest stops being theory and starts being real. At a 7% average return, $100,000 becomes $200,000 in roughly 10 years, without you adding a single dollar more. This is the point where money starts working for you. You're no longer the only engine in the room. Your lifestyle might look the same from the outside. Same car, maybe same apartment. But inside, the math has shifted. Every dollar you add now has a multiplier attached to it. People at this level often describe a shift in their relationship with work. They still work hard, but they're building, not surviving. There's a creative energy that comes from security. They take smarter risks, starting a side business, negotiating for a raise, investing in skills. 100,000 is the point where the wealthy start to feel like a club you might actually join one day. $250,000 to $500,000. You've crossed from financially stable into quietly wealthy. Your investment income is starting to actually mean something. At a conservative 4% withdrawal rate, $500,000 generates $20,000 a year passively. That's not retirement money for most people, but it's a significant supplement. At this stage, your conversations change. You're not talking about whether you can afford something, you're talking about whether it's worth it. Very different question. You have real estate conversations. You have business investment conversations. You become a small player in rooms where money makes decisions. The stress has almost completely left. You might still work, and most people here want to work, but the work is chosen, not forced. That distinction changes everything about your mental health, your creativity, and your sense of self.
The $1 million mark, the most mythologized number in personal finance. Here's the honest truth. $1 million in 2025 is not what it was in 1985, but it's still life-changing. At $1 million invested at 4%, you're generating $40,000 a year passively. In many parts of the world, that's a full living. In expensive cities, it's a supplement, but a powerful one. The psychological shift here is profound. You know you'll be okay. Not rich, but okay. No matter what happens to your job, your industry, your health insurance situation, you have a floor, a real one. People with $1 million saved describe a kind of lightness, not because life has no problems, but because financial ruin is no longer one of them. You've removed an entire category of catastrophe from your life. And you realize the goal was never to show off. The goal was to stop being afraid. $3 million. For most people watching this is the horizon. The number where full financial freedom becomes undeniable. At $3 million, generating 4% annually gives you $120,000 a year. That's more than most Americans earn from working full-time. You don't have to work again. Ever. Unless you want to. But here's what nobody tells you about this level. It doesn't feel how you imagined. The fancy cars stop mattering. The status games fade. What you find yourself caring about at $3 million is time. How you spend it, who you spend it with, what you're building that outlasts you. People at this level who are happy share something in common. They stayed connected to purpose. The ones who aren't happy, they stopped growing. They optimized for accumulation and forgot to build a life alongside the wealth. So the real lesson of this whole journey, from 0 to 3 million, isn't about the numbers. It's about the freedom the numbers represent. Freedom from fear. Freedom to choose. Freedom to become who you actually want to be. You don't have to start at 3 million. You just have to start. If you found this valuable, drop a comment below. What level are you at right now? And what's your next target? I'll see you in the next one.